Welcome back to another episode of Going For It. We have the OG Brain Trust back together. Craig, he's shaved the head. It looks way better than it did last week.
Nice.
It looks much better. It's cleaned up. We feel good about it. He bought an expensive razor kit that he may or may not have used.
Not yet. It's on the counter. I did buy it. I was pondering it tonight. It's not going to happen. Let's be real.
It's not going to happen.
Chocolate went in. That feels like the wrong way to go about it.
You shouldn't put blades around that when that happens.
But I am planning on using it next time, so I will give a review.
Very excited. Mike Thomas still here with the reverse Charlie Chaplin, hanging in there strong.
Oh, yeah.
Strong. And you're going with like a very Bradley Cooper-esque bedhead, and I respect it. I respect it.
I just now actually looked at my camera. Didn't realize what was happening up there.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a good look for you. It's a good look for you.
Those that have it waste it.
Waste it on us. We are going to discuss some things, some stuff. We are going to start our pick'em, as we always do, with our Thursday night football game. And there's really not going to be much to say about this game, because it has come out. We record this again. I say this every time on Wednesday night. So we don't have the most up-to-date information, but we have literally everything until we start recording, even sometimes while we record. Saquon Barkley out. He will not be playing in this game. Oh, no, he was announced as out. Andrew Thomas, left tackle, out. The Giants need to leave this game healthy. They will lose this game by two touchdowns. It's not going to be great.
Hear me out. More. If they forfeit, they only lose 2-0.
I'm on board with that. I'm okay with it.
That's bad optics. That's bad for everybody involved. It's bad for the coach, bad for the ownership, the fans, everybody. Can't do it.
Yeah. So as a Giants fan, very excited about last week's come from behind victory against the Cardinals. Very, very excited about it from halftime moving forward. Before that, very bad. I had very negative feelings.
Of nothing.
60 points were scored against the Giants in 6 quarters prior to them going on a ridiculous run. What I want to see from this team Thursday night in what is an inevitable loss is...
Wait. What? Why do you say that, though? What if that momentum of 2 quarters showed us who they are, what they're about, and they just get in there? They get in there to San Francisco, and they just roll them. They just absolutely destroy them. 31-13.
Have you seen the 49ers play any football
ever? I think they're real good. But
have you seen Nick Bosa as a person just in like life?
Greatest Giants comeback in history is what I heard. That's what I heard.
That's correct.
The history. That's an old team. That team is a new team.
Arizona, who is bar none the worst run franchise in the NFL, according to the Players Association.
That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. So there is positives to take out of this game. Wan'Dale Robinson for the Giants is coming back from his ACL injury. This will be his first game back. Give him the ball. Let him get touches. Let him get comfortable. Let him get hit. Give the ball to Jalen Hyatt. Super fast guy. Drafted him this year. Very excited what he can be. He's hit 24 miles an hour in practice, in pads. Ooh. Very impressive. Super fast. Very, very fast. Get out of the game healthy. These need to be the priorities because the next couple of weeks for the Giants do not get easier. We are facing the Miami Dolphins. That is something that happens in 2 weeks.
I know. I'm excited about
we are facing the New York Jets, which should be a better game for us. But there's a lot of very competitive games coming up. Get out of this game healthy. Make sure your starters are good. And take this loss that was going to happen with Saquon Barkley and Andrew Thomas regardless. Because this team is just further along in their journey than the Giants. I'm not saying in 2 years that it wouldn't be a competitive game. But right now, today... At this time, this is not a competitive game and one you just need to leave with moral victories. Moral victories is the name of this game.
So nobody get hurt. Don't get blanked. Oh, wait. Right. I mean, you already did.
We did do that.
So it really isn't even that bad if that's what happens. But
as long as it's not 40.
Well, wait a minute. If they don't get blanked, do we absolutely know that Dallas is the better defense than the Niners then?
I don't know because weather played a lot into that game. The field did not look like it was holding water well, or not dispelling water well.
I
It
don't know
looked
anything about
very
that.
heavy. It was bad. It did not look good.
It doesn't look like a good field.
It doesn't, and they just did the new fake grass on it this year, and it just didn't look great. And then Aaron got hurt literally the next night, and it was there's weird stuff happening there. But anyway, San Francisco here, no doubts. I think it's going to be at least the spread's 10.5. I think it's going to be more than that without the tackle
10.5.
and Saquon.
Yeah,
I think it's 2 touchdowns, but
I saw that last week. I said the Giants couldn't have asked for a better opponent to play after getting spanked 40-0, and they barely pulled it out. So yeah. The red alert. This is not a drill. This is real bad for the Giants. So yeah, I'm taking the Niners, and if we were taking the spread, I would also take the points. If it's a one possession game,
the extended one.
Yeah, if it's a one possession game, that's a moral victory for the Giants.
Oh my God, that'd be huge. I would be walking around like it was a win.
Only for fans, by the way. The team feels not at all like that.
Yeah.
No, they feel none of
like,
that.
This is terrible. This is awful. Like, we did so bad. And I would just be like, 1 score, motherfuckers.
Could have. Should have.
I want to move away from this game now because it's just going to make me sad. We also will be doing a breakdown for it in a little bit. Super excited about that thumbnail. I'm pumped about it.
Are you going to use it?
Yeah. Tennessee, Cleveland. Cleveland did some stuff last week. First of all, want to throw it out there. Nick Chubb, that was awful, but I respect the broadcast very much for not replaying the injury.
Yes.
I love that. I don't love how fast it was on the internet and how fast it was popping up on Twitter. That bummed me out. But Deshaun Watson looks like the Deshaun Watson of old. And I want to go to you first, Mike, because you had the pleasure of watching your defense attack this man. I think attack is the proper word. So break down for me what you feel about these same old Browns.
Well, let me just say that as a Steelers fan, there was very little about that game that was a pleasure. There was a lot of pain to be had from Steelers fans outside of a handful of plays. Deshaun Watson is playing with like instant karma against the Browns. Like, you can't help but watch me. Like, they paid $250 million for this. And as a lifelong Steelers fan, I'm very happy and giddy when I see him struggling to play football at a modicum level. He played on par with Kenny Pickett, who arguably could have been benched. So, and Watson it's impossible to bench him at that salary. So
no, you can't do that.
He played so bad and he got away with a lot. So that pass interference on the very last play of the game that was not called. I'll call that as makeup for
he pushed
Deshaun Watson, literally shoving a ref out of his face and not getting flagged. Yeah. But I bet you, I guarantee
what we thought he was.
I will say this: if Watson got ejected from that game, Pittsburgh loses. I don't even know who their backup is.
I don't know who their backup is. In his head.
He's just saying he was.
They were living up here.
He was that terrible.
I mean, that's also true. He was not good. He wasn't great the week before in Cincinnati either.
His numbers are worse than ever of all time, ever of his whole career. Worse than college. They're bad. He's not. It's such a Browns move of the whole story. The whole thing from last year into this year. They're never going to. They get to another place. They win a playoff game and they ship the dude away. Right, like that's
who's doing very well, by the way.
Who's doing? Again, I know we'll probably get to that. I didn't get that far, but like Deshaun, I was saying this before, so I know I'm beating that same drum. I had no faith in him. I had absolutely no faith in him. And there are friends of ours, mutual friends of all of us, that were talking him up during fantasy. And I was like, I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole. I get it. I get the upside. I get the money they spent. But he took a year and a half-ish, almost 2 full years off of football.
2 full years.
Yeah. And is not at all the same. The stat lines will tell you the whole story. The eye test, he don't pass it. And he's making kind of like, again, the pushing of the ref and everything. There's now mental moves that are like, oh, this isn't the guy. But to Mike's point, you got to play him. Nobody's going to trade for that contract. Not a single team. It will do that. And he's not good enough on field for anyone to even consider it.
And that PR nightmare. They're not trading for the contract and all of the PR problems that come with it. Anyway, same old Browns. Tennessee versus Cleveland. Who are you taking here? I'm going Cleveland because it's at home, and that is literally the only reason.
Their D is good. Their
defense is very good.
Their D line is good.
I think they have a decent secondary too.
No, yeah, their secondary and linebacker core. They've got a very strong defense, very banged up after this past week, so that might play a part. But yeah, they've got a very good defense.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cleveland just because I don't believe in Tennessee's offense. They were real bad. They were real bad last week against the Chargers and still won. So I'm going to take Cleveland here. Mike, who are you taking?
I had Cleveland, and then we started talking about Deshaun Watson, and I switched it to Tennessee.
You were like, no.
I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
We can't talk about Deshaun Watson that way, and then all of us pick Cleveland. We just couldn't.
I had to open the app to make sure, but I had already taken the Titans. And I know the Browns are the favorites or whatever, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't have any faith in that program.
Losing Nick Chubb is a big deal. I think it's going to be a bigger deal.
Their best player.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. And best player not named Myles Garrett, who is just a freak.
Yeah, sure. I
don't understand.
Chubb mattered more for wins and losses.
He does. He does.
What's that? You didn't think
Myles Garrett a freak of a human?
You don't
think Myles Garrett's good?
I don't see him take over games.
Position.
No, he's not at the level of TJ Watt.
No.
However, look at his body and how he moves, and that makes him a freak of a human.
I did get a good look at his body when he was swinging a helmet into Mason Rudolph's skull. He was like,
I heard Mason said something foul.
He said a not nice word allegedly.
Said's the guy who swung the helmet.
I mean,
I'm just saying other people heard a word that we would be unsavory. We'll not say.
It's uncouth. We will move on. Atlanta versus Detroit, a 1-1 game. Very surprising. Atlanta beating Green Bay last week. Detroit losing in, I would call this heartbreaking fashion.
Yep.
They probably should have won that game, but alas. I'm taking Detroit. Jared Goff has got these boys humming. He did really well last week in fantasy. I feel good about it. I like the coaching staff over there. Dan Campbell's awesome. Craig, who are you taking in this game?
I also like Detroit. I like you got Gibbs, the rookie running back is actually going to get a little more action, I believe, because Montgomery's a little banged up. Yeah, I don't think it's serious, but he did get banged up and left that game. We love what Goff's doing. He's moving the ball around. They even have, I might get the name wrong, they've got an up-and-coming rookie tight end, maybe Laporta might be his name.
Yeah, Sam Laporta.
He looks great. He looks huge. He's catching everything that gets thrown to him. Yeah, so it's more fun right now to root for Detroit, but I will say, I just saw it tonight. I think I put it in the thread, maybe not, but Bijan is fun to watch. So I will enjoy it regardless. I have no dog in that fight whatsoever. I'm taking Detroit. But it's hard not to want to see something happen where he can move. I want full health for these great running backs, please, because they can do stuff that makes it fun to watch.
Mike, who are you taking in this game?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is injured and is day-to-day, so that would change things for me. But right now I'm going with Detroit at home.
So the reason that doesn't deter me from Detroit, and this is just me, is because Detroit has a quarterback. Atlanta with Desmond Ridder, I don't have faith in him. And I would have so much more faith if they utilized Kyle Pitts or Drake London in any positive capacity ever.
Pitts has such a high ceiling of what he's capable of, but you just don't hear much about him. You don't see them getting the ball to him.
They don't make plays for him.
Right. That's what I
which
mean.
is
Like
weird.
it feels very strange. They even drafted him very high. So it was like he was an early first rounder. It was a big deal. Highest tight end drafted like ever or some shit. It was
Something
I
like
think. And
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel like you nailed it. It doesn't feel like the offense is doing anything to create those moments. And it isn't I don't think it's cuz he sucks. I don't, cuz you see him in moments look good.
The thing is, for me, it's just like the thing that makes Mike McDaniels a great head coach for Miami is that he schemes guys open. He schemes Tyreek open. He started doing that thing where he puts Tyreek in motion in the slot, gets Tyreek on a linebacker, and that frees him up in the middle of the field. It frees him up down the field. It makes a safety have to commit over, which opens up Waddle, which opens up whatever. Atlanta's not at that level yet. Arthur Smith isn't that guy. He's a guy that wants the running backs to touch the ball 25, 30 times a game. They run a dual backfield. Like, they want to control the pace of the game, which I respect and appreciate, but that's not the game anymore. That's not how this goes. And I just think that Kyle Pitts' talent is being wasted
Squandered
in Atlanta. But that's the only reason I take Atlanta or Detroit over Atlanta.
He may get a second run at another team and really matter. Who knows?
I don't know why he would sign in Atlanta again. Once his rookie deal's up, he's going to get money anywhere, you know? Yeah. Moving on, New Orleans versus Green Bay. Craig, who are you taking in this game?
I'm going to take the Saints. Apologies to David, my biz partner and bro, who does not listen to the podcast and
not surprised
likes the Green Bay Packers, but he should. And if he's listening to this one, he should slack me that he listened to it and tell me his thoughts. So the Packers had a very exciting week one, a little bit of a cool down last week, and I think the Saints are on a ramp up in terms of energy, in terms of what's going on. Michael Thomas, the namesake of our Michael Thomas here, looks like he's ready to ball, and not maybe 150 catches Mike Thomas, but like right around the year before that, maybe. Like he's ready to play. They'll get Kamara back, not this week, but next week. But I like some of what's happening anyway. Derek Carr's figuring it out. So I don't know. I think we're going to see. I know that would be an upset also, but I like picking a couple upsets each week.
Mike Thomas, your son is on the New Orleans Saints. Who are you taking in this game?
I am taking the Packers.
Okay.
Taking the Packers.
Misdirect.
No, I think the Saints are a really good team. I think they have a legit shot to go into Lambeau. I have no idea what to make of Green Bay because they came out and kind of looked really good week one and then not so great week two. So they're home. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, pick them again at home. And if they lose this game, then all bets are off.
Then they're dead to me.
They're dead to me.
They should win, but I don't.
The crazy thing to me, and I'm going to say this as an Aaron Jones doubter, is that I'm always down on Aaron Jones.
What the hell?
I have never been an Aaron Jones believer, but seeing them week one with Aaron Jones in this offense and him go off.
He's good. He's so good.
I have feelings about this. But to week two where he did not play and AJ Dillon was basically
Inept.
Quote Workaholics, loose butthole. He was very loose butthole. The whole game was bad.
He was loose butthole.
He was loose butthole. A dude with quads that size should be able to run people over. And he avoids contact like the plague.
It's probably because he's 25. Why isn't he better?
He should be better. He should be better. He was drafted in the second round too, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure he was a second round pick out of Boston College. But I'm going to take Green Bay here in hopes that Christian Watson cuts back on the field because I drafted him and he hasn't done anything yet. But I think Green Bay has a little bit of an advantage with it being at Lambeau. And I think Aaron Jones might play this week. I don't know if it's been announced yet or not. But yeah, I'm gonna take Green Bay, and their defense is quite good. Their Green Bay's defense is pretty good, and New Orleans doesn't show me anything to make me a believer of them. So they have underwhelmed thus far this season. Taking Green Bay, but now the time we've all been waiting for, Denver versus Miami. Craig Brooks has not gotten an opportunity on this podcast to discuss his Miami Dolphins. Does Denver have any chance in this game?
Well, sure. Any team could beat any team. There's traps. There's always been the worst teams can beat the best teams. I think last year the Colts beat the Chiefs. I think that happened.
That did
That was
happen
like a real game
or something.
So, yeah. So anything can happen. But if you're looking at every facet of the game, I think Miami has that Denver covered, right? The better defense, the better offense. I think maybe even special teams. Like, it's everywhere. And I would say, I know we've only got 2 games of the second coming of Sean Payton, but we might be able to say, at least for 2023, we got the better coach right now too. There's a lot of, again, I'm a fan, so there's going to be a little bit of that sauce on it. You know what I mean? But even like non-Miami fans, just football fans, are talking about this offense. They're talking about the way McDaniel has worked with Tua specifically, but then other kind of important members of the team from the defense. And again, even how he's getting his coaching staff kind of all lined up to the vision of what they're doing. They're letting people be themselves, which is kind of interesting too. It's not, Belichick, it was a funny picture, the handshake they had after Miami beat the Patriots. And of course, there were some Miami fans taking it way too far, of like a passing of the torch. I was like, hold on, that's a little much.
Relax.
But I think it's too big time. I'm with you on the relax, but it's 2 different schools of thought of like how you even coach and how you do these things. And it was fun to watch from the jump this season. Last season was fun too. I'm just nervous because of what happened last year. Injuries can always happen. This is the NFL. They do happen. They're going, it's a part of it that things like this are going to happen. We only had one issue, Jeff Wilson Jr., I think, on the offense, which he'll come back at some point, and that had no effect because there's a rookie, Arcane, I think, who came out, and he's a track star. He's the fastest dude on the team for a 100-meter time, which is insane.
And Mostert is ripping face off right now.
And I love, but again, health is I'm just so nervous over health because there's, like, for example, we absolutely need Tyreek Hill to continue the momentum, right? So if something happens to Tyreek Hill, we really would be in a bad spot. Whereas the running backs, we've proven we can kind of funnel around and move. But yeah, I think Denver has that, puncher's chance in terms of any team, any day. But I don't think now's the time Miami gets stopped. I think they will not. I'm not predicting an undefeated season here by any means. Things happen and all that. But with full health, I think you got the number 1 offense in the NFL right there. With full health, I know they are currently, right, just in terms of like yardage and stuff, but I think that will maintain. And the defense is really making shit happen. I mean, they're causing turnovers. They were able to really shift it after, I think that was actually week 1, but I know I didn't get a chance to talk, but like that, they had that epic opening drive and then they fumble on the 2, right? And they actually had a second bad exchange that game. They had a bad center exchange last week as well, week 2, another one. So there's still things to work out. That game should have probably been more points, but they lost the opportunity on that drive where there was a bad exchange and they fumbled. And there's still some kinks to work out, which is where I go from like nervous to excited again, because I'm like, ooh, they can make those big mistakes and still recover, right back to very well coached at the moment. So obviously I'm picking Miami, and I appreciate you letting me vent on it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I want to go over to Sourpuss now, who I'm going with the negative question here. Can the Miami Dolphins be stopped? Not necessarily by the Denver Broncos, but just in general. Can this team, assuming full health, be stopped?
That's a good question, because I don't know if they can be. They are very powerful on offense. Waddle's banged up right now. He's in the concussion protocol,
I don't think he's going to play.
right? So
I don't think he's going to play.
That's a bummer, because they do need to be at full health in order to really. The running backs, they're deep enough. They've got a whole stable of paper mache running backs. So as one breaks, they can go to the next, and hopefully by the time the first one heals, he'll be ready to go. I think Miami is the best team in the AFC right now, and I don't know if it's close.
Doesn't feel close. Two games in, like I watched that entire Chargers game. That was, first of all, such a fun game to watch. Super fun game to watch. Chargers have lots of problems on defense, but we'll get there in a minute. But Miami is just a beast right now. Yeah, gotta take Miami here.
They're
over
fun
Denver,
to watch,
even though
they're the one to follow.
I think this could also be a Bradley Chubb revenge game. Might see a sack and a half from Mr. Chubb here on
He's had
Russ.
One or two already this season.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Because Phillips was actually out, and that's another thing too. That Jalen Phillips, who is the dynamic young stud on the line, Wilkins is great in the middle for that defensive line, and then Chubb was we got him last year as part of that trade or whatever. Chubb's waking up. Phillips is slightly banged up. He will be back as well, and then that line's at full strength. And it's an understated. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but they get pressure. They absolutely get pressure when all three of them are there.
Yeah, JJ Watt talked about it today on the Pat McAfee show.
Shit,
said he really liked. Yeah, said he really liked what Miami's doing on defense, and something that I think people are forgetting about: Jalen Ramsey comes back to this defense in 2 weeks.
I also forgot about that, and I'm a fan because Holland is doing so well, and Howard's doing so well, and like so many things. Oh my god! I'm like gonna lift the desk a little bit. It's just like things are happening.
6 to midnight. Here. It just happened. It just happened. We saw it. I think we're all taking Miami in this game.
Which means they're gonna
be
lose.
A little.
God damn it.
You think you'd be a little silly not to take Miami in this game? I think Sean Payton, a year off might have been a big deal. A little bit, or maybe Denver's not as good as we thought they would be, but there's some work that still needs to be done over there apparently. And Russ has actually looked like Russ this season, so I don't think you can put blame there, but there's something missing over there. Chargers, Vikings. This to me feels like it's going to be a like 48-45 game. Like this just feels like they're going to just throw bombs and whoever gets the ball last is going to win.
How are these two teams 0-2?
Coaching?
Because I saw this game and I'm like, well, no way Minnesota goes 0-3. And I picked them and then I'm like, wait a minute. No way the Chargers go 0-3.
No defense.
Well, shit.
Neither team has a defense to speak of. And it doesn't make sense with how much money is on the back end for Los Angeles. So they have Bosa, they have Khalil Mack, they have J.C. Jackson, they have Asante Smith Jr., Asante Samuel Jr., they have Derwin James. Like it makes no sense that the Chargers defense is as bad as it has played. And yeah, I think Craig nailed it. I think the head coach needs to go. I have I've consumed some Chargers content because I am a self-proclaimed Justin Herbert fan, big fan of him as a quarterback, and consumed some Brandon Staley content, and that guy sucks ass.
He's not the guy for Herbert. He's not the guy for that team. Herbert's great. I like watching Herbert too. I even like Chargers content because their social media team is dope.
Their social media is great.
Yeah, they put out the really like a couple years in a row. They did the anime video to announce the schedule.
Super cool.
That was very cool. Again, they just really seem to be what's going on right now. They got the great stadium. Herbert is getting better at commercials. His first couple years, I was like, "Ooh, you're so wooden. You're so stiff."
He doesn't like to be on camera,
but he's warmed up. He sounds better this year than
he's
before.
In LA.
Very,
he's gotta.
Very handsome young man. Amazing hair.
Great hair.
Get Staley out because we won't see his rise. We won't see Herbert reach the high highs with how they're being coached right now. I feel similarly at this point about what's going on in Minnesota because I know even though he's new, you've got the tools here. Kirk isn't the problem. People are saying that.
Their defense is a problem. Yeah. Their defense is a mess over there.
But what you're talking about over in LA with the big names, the studs, that's on the coaching. You have actual chess pieces to play. Something else is wrong, and that's always going to be at that next level up.
So before we pick this game, I wanted to drop a hot take because I have them fairly consistently. But for this one, I think I think Brandon Staley's gonna coach the season out. I don't think they're gonna fire him in season. But I think the head coach that's going to come in, revitalize and empower Justin Herbert to be the best version of himself is currently the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, Eric Bieniemy. And I think he's going to come into this division and he's going to want to take the Chiefs' crown. I think he comes into this division angry and ready. I think that's, and to me, from the outside, not knowing this person, not having interviewed this person, but seeing what he's done with Washington, seeing what they won while they were in Kansas City together, that is a no-brainer hire. To me, that is a no fucking brainer. But I'm going to go to Mike Thomas first. Who are you taking in this game? Chargers or Vikes?
Give me the Vikings because they're at home. Only reason.
Reason?
Craig Brooks.
Shit. Disrespectful to the Vikings. They got a high-powered offense. They're looking good. They're throwing the ball around. Kirk threw like 4 tutties last week. They lost.
He's thrown for so many yards.
All the yards. And Justin Jefferson's catching all the passes. Addison
just got
great.
Cam Akers.
Hawkinson, they just got Cam Akers. I don't know that matters this week necessarily.
What did Cam Akers do to make McVay and that coaching staff and entire team hate him as a person?
I don't know if it's even that although there are stories of that with Goff and McVay, and the Goff made some sort of pass at McVay's wife or something like that. There is a story there. Yeah. I don't think that's what happened with Cam. If you look at it, there was excitement out of him, the rookie season, and then it really fell apart. And I think what happened there, I know that's a different game, is that other guys behind literally just ate his lunch. They were just better and working harder. And McVay was like, I don't need this. I don't need to wait on a dude. We've already won a Super Bowl. We're trying to get back. I don't have the time to wait on you to get your head right. You're out. Kyron Williams, or now who's banged up, the next one is in.
See, I guess that's just not the narrative that I saw. I saw a player that had success at times when he was allowed to play, but he was always in the doghouse.
I don't know if he was that good. Yeah, I don't know.
Last year he got an opportunity to play early in the season. He wasn't great. And
he doesn't have what are we talking?
He's fine.
He never had more than 4.3 yards a carry. His top was 7 tutties last year. 4.2 yards a carry.
He's had long stretches where he has been very good, including runs through the playoffs.
How's that possible?
Last year he was definitely better in the second half of the season.
I don't know.
I'm
not saying you're
the
not
Super Bowl.
Being
he
honest.
was vital. Super Bowl. He was vital. He was a big deal in the Super. Him and Sony Michel took that Super Bowl over.
Okay, I do not remember that.
Yeah, he ran. He had come back from an ACL injury just for that game, and they were like, I can't believe it. He was bulldozing people. But I think at the end of the day, he's just a guy. I think McVay wants a guy that can catch a little better, and he's not that guy.
Yeah. Another Florida State running back that's meh right now.
Craig, who are you taking? Chargers, Minnesota.
I'm taking the Vikings. I like their offense more than I like the Chargers' offense. I think the Chargers are a little banged up. I'm a little biased because I have the Cousins Jefferson stack in fantasy, so I'm rooting for that as well. So I think I'm leaning there. But you said it all about why I don't trust the Chargers, why I won't trust the Chargers, and I really hope, because they got talent on both sides of the ball, and they're squandering it.
They have a decent line. So in this game, I am actually going to be taking the Chargers. I will be the sole Chargers taker.
Do it.
Really hoping that Austin Eckler plays, because I drafted him with the 3rd pick overall, and that is not turning out great so far.
I don't know if he's back this week, though.
He's not supposed to be. They literally changed his numbers to 0 today. So, and Josh Kelly did real bad last week. But
so bad. I put Kelly, and I thought, I love that hat, though. Are we doing hats? Isn't this one you gave me?
I broke it out for the Chargers.
I think you gave me this one because it's got the.
I did do that. Yeah, I did do that.
I leave it out all the time. I look at it a lot because I like it. But
I like it.
My head got fatter as I got older. That's an age thing as well. You pee slower, your head gets fatter, your ears grow, and yeah, don't look forward to it. It's worse for Mike. He's a little older than me, so
and he's already got a huge head.
I am late career Barry Bonds.
just one mass from neck all the way up to fucking head. It's just
that was a cool look. There floating.
That was a look in the 90s that you're wearing right now, right? Wasn't that the big word, the big letters all across was a big 90s flow?
It was.
This I admit they should have done more with that, where you got the skyline on it. I feel like it should have been on the.
It was a cool touch.
Should have been on the front.
Yeah, it should have been on the brim. Anyway, for anyone that's not watching, Craig and I put hats on. I'm taking the Chargers just because I think their quarterback is better. I think Justin Herbert is better than Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins is a dud, in my opinion. New England.
I love that insult. That's an old-timey insult.
He's a dud. He's a dud. Not even like a milk dud. Like not even a subpar candy. He's just a dud. He is.
I do not like milk duds.
I also.
But I really.
Whoa.
Mike probably loves
hold
milk duds.
on.
He's about to get. He's about.
What in the world?
They're garbage.
Do you
candy,
mean
Mike.
they're garbage candy? They are garbage candy. You're telling me
the bottom of the line of candy goes candy corn, milk duds. That is the order. I would eat a peep before I ate a milk dud.
I agree with you, Patrick.
Do you guys have weak teeth? That just the teeth because that's.
I just have good taste. That's the difference.
Clearly, you don't.
I think we know that Mike likes milk duds.
I am deeply offended.
It's
I thought Mike was going to sign out.
Movies.
I thought he was going to log out.
Yeah, he's going to leave.
Like, I'm done with this forever.
I've known you for a long time. I've seen you eat no milk duds.
I mean, I'm not going to buy a milk dud at a movie theater or something like that because it works the teeth in an unpleasant way sometimes when you've got a big box. But Halloween, you get that tiny little box. You put it in the fridge,
throw it in the trash,
and then you put it in the fridge
again.
And then you can chew on it for like 30 minutes.
They're literally called duds. Dud denotes not good. You're a dud. I go away from you.
They are better than a lot of other candies out there.
Name 6 candies that they're better than. You can't.
Sweeties.
Do you mean Smarties? If you mean Smarties, I'll defend Smarties because you're wrong.
Yes.
You're already wrong.
Smarties are excellent.
Hold on, there's a Sweeties candy.
What the hell is a Sweetie?
I don't know what it is, but I've heard of it.
I thought he was talking Smarties, but he immediately went to Runts, and I'll defend Runts ahead of Milk Duds. You had multiple flavors in that Runts bag. I didn't like banana. Banana
was bad. Banana was not great.
But banana taints everything else that's in there, and they break your teeth more than Milk Duds.
Because you're supposed to suck on them, bro. What are you doing? Chewing on the Runts?
Why are you crunching Runts, bro? Why are you crunching Runts?
God damn it.
We've gotten so tangenty. Anyway.
Cousins is not a dud, though.
He's a dud, though. Anyway.
Kirk Cousins is a milk dud, and I will defend that until this podcast is canceled.
What? I've never agreed with anything you've said more. That he is a milk dud. He is a fucking milk dud.
Well, I'll put that into Mid-Journey and see if we get Kirk Cousins as a milk dud. There it is.
New England versus the Jets. Oh man. Thoughts on the Jets? Aaron Rodgers apparently trying some crazy experimental surgery, trying to get back for January playoffs, which feels aggressive because this team is not going to make the playoffs. Let me ask you this. I'm going to start with you, Mike. If you were in charge of the Jets right now, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, would you move on from Zach Wilson?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think if I were an executive in New Jersey for the New York Jets, I would be really upset over your milk dud reference and thinking about the candies I'd be buying at the movies because it's not worth going to work on Sundays. So rude. You've got a great defense. Zach Wilson, there's nobody else that they're going to be able to get that can come in and do better than him in the short term or the long term. So they're stuck with Zach Wilson. At least you got Breece Hall. Run the ball a little bit.
4 carries last game, not a good. Why would you do that?
Does he catch it all? Can't they do screens or something to get him out in space? They got to, especially going up against the Cowboys team that's just going to dominate the offensive line like that.
Yeah, that was not a great thought process.
No.
And New England's going to do a lot of the same stuff. Bill Belichick, super smart guy, knows this Jets roster really well. I don't see a way that the Jets. Zach Wilson is very reminiscent of Sam Darnold for me this season, where Sam was seeing ghosts, because Craig encompassed it perfectly. And I don't even remember if it was on the podcast or outside of it, but he was like, this dude was so excited to be a backup for the next 3 years. And Aaron goes down in 4 plays. And it's like, well, there you go.
Yeah. He needs way more sweatpants.
So many more sweatpants. Hold on. There is a chance. There is a reality that he has what will be looked at as a mediocre season instead of a terrible season. There's a scenario where they lean on the defense, they run the ball appropriately, and they reshift a little bit to how much throwing would need to happen. That could happen. He can also scoot. He's got legs that if they not like Jalen Hurts or Lamar, I'm not trying to put him in that category. I'm saying that if you trust in what they're doing and what they're capable of, which I will say the only downside to even what I'm saying that I'm trying to be positive is that Saleh is such a defensive head coach that it almost seemed like from all my Hard Knocks watching that he cares about the offense, but he almost like vilified it, where it feels like he's going to have to lean on the OC a lot more, and that's Hackett, which is a good thing if it's good if Aaron Rodgers is playing.
Right.
It is less good. So I'd like to see a game or two of Ken Hackett actually reframe some of you don't have to drop whole new plays. I'm saying, can we use the playbook we have and serve Wilson better? So that's why I'm actually going to take the flyer. I'm going to pick the Jets on this one because I have no faith in the Patriots. I think they're garbage.
Mike, who are you taking in this game?
I do not think the Patriots are garbage, but I am also taking the Jets at home. Their defense is going to get them one.
I am going to be the outlier again, and I'm going to take the Patriots here. I think their defense is outstanding, but the problem with their defense is that it's not a college defense, and there's not more guys on the roster that you can rotate because they're going to be on the field too much. They're going to be on the field too much. They're going to be on the field too long. Mac Jones is the king of the dink and dunk pass, and I just think they're going to tire that Jets defense out. Very similar to kind of what it looked like Dallas did last week. Like they just got tired by attrition. And Quinnen Williams, we're not sure if he's coming back. I don't know his injury status, and that would be a huge loss if he was unable to play this week. So I'm going to go New England, the away team, just because for me, quarterbacks win you games, and the better quarterback here is on the New England Patriots, and it's by intangibles, it's close. I think Zach Wilson's got a better arm. I think he runs better. I think he stands up in the pocket better. But I think Mac is more accurate, has a better understanding of the offense, is in a better place to succeed. So
how sick is it that, I know this is unrelated, but since we all said that, the pictures were showing up on the feed last week, but like the Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, Tua, Alabama locker room photos, I think are phenomenal. Tua was the guy back then. Yeah. He had it above all of them. Mac was the freshman. Tua was winning a title. And I don't remember if Tua got a Heisman or not. He might have.
He did not.
He did not. Mac didn't, or did Jalen? Now I don't remember if any of them
did. Maybe none of them did.
I don't remember. Yeah, I would have to look at that. But I saw that, and I was giving my dad like a mini history lesson because he's like, who are those people? Because they looked younger too, so he didn't recognize Mac Jones. And Jalen actually, I thought was even shorter than both of them, which shocked me because I didn't see that coming. I don't know. I didn't verify that either. But it's like it just continues to not to go back to Miami, but like if you really look at what Tua's been, and he's been a winner everywhere he goes. He just
Absolutely.
gets shit on for being injured a lot, which, hey, I get it. But if he stays healthy, I think we're going to see what we're going to see. And it's going to make both of those teams, the Jets and Patriots, irrelevant because the AFC East will belong to Oos.
Chris Carter compared him to Steve Young today on Pat McAfee. And I think
that feels like high praise.
That's very high praise. Steve Young is really good. And I think his accuracy is ridiculous. I think it's bonkers. Moving on, Buffalo, Washington. I don't have a lot to add to this one. I think Buffalo is going to win this just based on talent. I think Washington's a decent team, but Buffalo is they're Josh Allen looked to be back on track last week with only like one pick instead of the 5 or whatever he threw in New York. But give me Buffalo in this game. Mike, who you taking?
Yeah, Buffalo got back on track. I think they're going to roll for several weeks, and I still don't think the Commanders are all that great, so give me Buffalo.
Craig, who you taking?
I apologize. I got distracted by Mike's text, which immediately opened up and showed Smarties, not Sweeties.
It's like the second thing.
But then the second thing... You know why it's the second thing? Because the internet knows that it's Smarties, not Sweeties.
There's Sweeties, literally a package with Sweeties on it.
I think Sweeties is a brand name, brother, not the candy. That's
possible.
What I think. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but I had never heard of Sweeties. This could be like when you taught me what a Wawa was before I knew what a Wawa was. You had Wawa up there,
that's great,
and we had none down here. Isn't that true?
Yeah. No,
I think
that's
Mike
not true.
What was that gas
was called,
station?
those were Sheets.
Sheets? Are you talking about Sheets?
Yeah.
I told you about Wawa.
Sheets. All right. Take that credit right away from Mike Thomas. That's going right to you, Pat, because I do like Wawa. And I think Mike's wrong about the Sweeties Smarties thing.
Honestly, the only thing I remember about our Wawa conversation, not to tangent again, but was you being like, I don't know that I want my food at the same place I get my gas. And I was like, nah, dude, you do. Trust me.
I changed my mind. I absolutely changed my mind. You won me over. It's the Bills. It's the Bills. We got a better version of what they're capable of last week. They should win this game. But I will say you planted a very interesting seed about what could happen with the enemy, which, boy, that would be fun. I don't know his vitriol level for the Chiefs, right? Like I don't know. I heard a lot of things about his personality and stuff, that why he's not a head coach and all that. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. But boy, it is obvious that he mattered because he goes to Washington, they do better. He leaves the Chiefs, they do worse.
Could be a big deal. Could be nothing. Just throwing that out there. Houston, Jacksonville, another game I don't think we need to spend too much time on. Jacksonville should win this game handedly. Craig, who you taking? Houston, Jacksonville?
I took the Jags because 97.8% of people did. So I'm following the bunch on that one. But I also really like watching them. I was a little disappointed last week like everybody else was, but that was a bit of a dogfight type game. But
it was a weird game.
Again, I'm still optimistic on everything they're capable of. I really like Calvin Ridley, and I don't know. I think they're doing it.
Mike Thomas, who are you taking?
Jacksonville, I think, is going to recover and have a good game at home against a bad team.
Bad team. Not a good team. Nico Collins, though, exciting. CJ Stroud, exciting. The future could be bright in Houston as long as they're coached well. Indy versus Baltimore. Very interested in this matchup. Anthony Richardson possibly playing in this game against Lamar Jackson. So we have two of the, I would say, better rushing quarterbacks in the NFL. I put here in the notes that Anthony Richardson is Cam Newton, but leads with his head. And that feels fairly accurate to me. Two games he was knocked out early due to being in concussion protocol with possible concussions. One of us on this podcast is very high on the ceiling of Anthony Richardson, and it's Craig. However, after seeing what he's done in 2 games, which has been scored 3 rushing touchdowns, he's thrown for a touchdown, threw a pick, but has looked very explosive, has looked like he's able to run and do all these things. Is he going to be able to succeed if he continues to make the mental gaffes that he is making.
No, absolutely not. He has to shore that up. But you got to let some of these players be who they are. It's the same argument we have with Josh Allen. You just have to do what you can as a coaching staff, as a team, to just remind him that the best ability is availability kind of thing that everybody says. And it just is true for these guys. They matter so much to the overall trajectory. The good news is Gardner's not terrible, right? So if it needed to be for a cleanup or even to start a few games, he could. But I don't want to see the kid get hurt like that, because now the funny thing is, this one is he hit his head like going down. It was a Tua concussion where he hit his head. It wasn't even the tough hit. Right. It wasn't the tough hit he took from the side, because he's 250, 6'4". I get it. But Jalen finds a way to not take the hits like that while being as dynamic running. So there's a path. The good news is Shane was with him. He can coach and be in the ear of Richardson. Some of the throws Richardson made were very good. He made a few bad ones too, but even Bryce Young, who's the most accurate, right? He threw a pick too, a couple picks. That's going to happen in any rookie season. I think Anthony Richardson has the most exciting rookie start for a quarterback, and I don't even think it's close.
Mike Thomas, you want to weigh in on that?
Call me when he's out of the concussion protocol for a couple of weeks. He can keep himself healthy. Until then,
he hasn't missed a game yet. He only missed half.
He missed a half and a quarter, so he's missed almost a full game.
Put 2 tutties in before that.
It's true. Against Houston, who we just said was a bad team.
They're very bad. They're very bad.
My concern with Anthony Richardson will be decision making. It's always been decision making, because he wasn't a good decision maker at Florida. He's not a good decision maker at this point in the NFL. It's concerning, because
that's the issue with 20 starting quarterbacks. That's the issue with 20 of them.
But some of them don't do it, though. You look at the guys that succeed while being runners. You talk about Jalen, you talk about Russ, Lamar to a lesser degree. It's just something that needs to happen if you're going to be that rushing quarter. Look at Josh Allen.
Right,
Josh Allen is that.
It's game 2. Give him a chance to learn. Josh Allen, you were not.
Don't learn with your head. Learn with your ribs or something.
I get that, but the things people were saying about Josh Allen year 1. I mean, it was identical.
For sure.
Identical. So
he's got a lot of intangibles. Huge arm, big body.
Windmill
but
dunk.
Don't lead with your head. Don't lead with your head.
I don't want him to. I don't want him to. But I'm picking the Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens all day. Mike, who are you taking? I don't know if Mike
Ravens.
can take the Ravens. Oh, he can.
I almost exclusively take AFC North teams. Superstitious.
He will not take the Steelers out of the superstition like he controls any factors.
I have all the factors.
Why are Steeler fans so superstitious? You've won many titles.
He's a little stitious.
But as a fan base, you're the superstitious. The fans are superstitious. The terrible towel. What the hell is that when you've won so much?
We have a long history of knowing what works and what doesn't.
What?
I'm 1-0 picking against the Steelers.
It's true.
Yeah. And 0-1 when I pick them to win.
Got it. No, got it. Idiotic delusion. Got it. Got it.
Carolina versus Seattle. Seattle, obviously. Taking Seattle. Craig, who are you taking?
In that one, I joined 96.6% of people, and I took Seattle as well.
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, Seattle.
Moving on, Chicago versus KC. This one is interesting because of some comments that were let out by Justin Fields today, saying that he's been playing robotic, saying that he is being coached to be that way. From what I understand,
he shit on
a little bit.
He did the no.
They brought in a guy to be the OC, I believe, that worked with Aaron in Green Bay, and I think that guy is trying to make Justin Fields a pocket passer, and I don't think that's going great.
Why would you do that even, though?
I don't know.
The most exciting shit from last year's Bears season was Fields running for tutties. And I get it. He's inaccurate. I think he's less accurate than Anthony Richardson, right? And they got him DJ Moore. Cole Kmet's decent. There's Mooney. There's a few other assets there. I think to get the most out of Fields, you're going to have to let him move, and then he'll make some dynamic plays. Yes, he'll throw some picks as well, but you're going to accrue more and more wins if you line up behind a guy. What's happening now is the team doing this is actually going to waste more of his career. He'll leave, very likely do better somewhere else if he's still healthy, because he'll be coached better. He's got intangibles just like Richardson. He's got some skills. We've seen it. He actually can throw. He's got early Lamar vibes, but Lamar was very well coached. I think we know that because of where he landed, right? Lamar has the talent also. I'm not trying to make it, it's only because of Harbaugh, but we know that better coached guys, and they say this. Peyton talks about Tony Dungy, right? Tom talks about Bill. There's a real connection there. Fields saying this, I don't like that Fields did it, because I do think that's stuff that should be behind closed doors. That should be him talking to the GM and coach and like really doing it that way and not publicly, because I think he's breaking like that unspoken, you don't do that, you don't shit on the coach, and now you're creating a narrative that really fucks up everything. But I think he's right.
It's hard to disagree with what the Bears have put on display the last 2 weeks. Like, Fields was getting preseason MVP hype, and now he's not.
Maybe the coach didn't like that. Maybe that's a weird thing too. Who knows? Like, they're just people in the end. All these people, we love and I mean the players and the coaches too, and they have their own kind of machinations, their own goals, their own things they're trying to do in life. You just never know, because not to, again, super tangent, but it's not. Remember the Cleveland head coach Stefanski and kind of what he did to Baker? Baker was injured, and he put him out there and made him throw like 50 times or something. What was that, right? I'm not saying we have to go deep on that, but like there was a relationship there that deteriorated. McVay, Goff, right? Like, we've seen examples of this, and I think that I want to see, as a football fan, Fields play the Fields way that he showed us a little bit of last year that was exciting and fun to watch. You'd see him pop up on Red Zone for only good things. And not to steal from Dan Orlovsky or because apparently he gets a lot of his content stolen from, but he showed them run the same play 3 times in a row in the NFL, and it was a screenplay that got blown up.
Yeah,
like,
it's not good.
That's just bad coaching. That's not, and Fields is not, I think, veteran enough to make call his own plays kind of thing. That would cause some disruption. So, long-winded way of saying Bears suck, but I think it's because they're not letting him be him.
Yeah, and he said he was going to kind of just say fuck it and do what he does this week, and I think that that's going to be really exciting, but I don't think it's going to beat the Chiefs. So I'm going to take the Chiefs in this game. Mike Thomas, who you taking?
The Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs.
But what if, though? What if?
It'd be big. It'd be big.
It would be a cool fucking story. It would be, because Chiefs don't look like themselves just yet. So there'd be an interesting, but they're going to win probably by like 40, but like it would be very
and it's
cool.
in Kansas City. It feels like this is.
I know. They're going to, and Travis, I think, wants to get right after a kind of a slow week back. Like I do think it's going to be bad, but boy, maybe Chicago, we'll talk about them in future weeks, can get like a cupcake, like maybe like the Giants or the Steelers or something like that, and just kind of really get working.
Yeah. Great. Love it. I love that for the Giants. Dallas versus Arizona. Is there any chance Dallas doesn't win this game?
Same as the Miami-Denver thing, I think. Right? Like
I think it's even less than that. I think like it's going to have to go real bad for Dallas for them to lose this game.
James Conner's looking resurgent. Conner's looking good. Josh Dobbs got to the team 24 days ago or something like that.
Something weird.
It is the starting quarterback. You got to give him props. Mike hates him, I can tell.
Well, they're just not good.
They're not.
That's all.
I meant Josh Dobbs. I meant you personally.
Oh, I have no feelings about Josh Dobbs whatsoever.
He was on your squad.
I'm not even going to take the time to know if I'm pronouncing his name right.
He was a Steeler, wasn't he? He got drafted there, I thought.
He was.
Disrespectful.
The only thing I have to say about Arizona is that they have the worst head coach of all time with speaking. He does not talk well. He does not say words good.
Give him a PR.
Have you seen him? I'm going to send you some stuff.
That video.
He's the guy that was like, I think I sent it to Mike.
Was he the fireworks
last
pew,
week?
Pew pew.
That was
guy?
him.
Yeah.
Yep. And he was also the guy that was like, who took the bus here today? Who drove?
I saw that.
I want
saw
fucking
that.
dogs. And it was like everyone was as like low key and relaxed as it could possibly be.
Right, because
It
they're
was like, I
thinking,
want
wow.
fucking dog. Yeah, they're like,
Bus
this guy's
reference.
a nerd.
We're pro football players. The worst of us here makes hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're not
Correct.
taking the bus.
No,
Your
no one is
your
taking the bus.
analogy, your metaphor, your simile, pick a better one.
He's terrible.
But he's
Give
like
me Dallas by $1 million.
a million. Rude.
$1 million.
No, they'll
42
win by
42.
they'll win by like what's that spread? Because you said the other one was 10.5. What's the spread on that one?
Oh, I don't know the spread on this one. Let me see if I can
I
pull it
wonder
up
who's
real
got the
quick.
highest spread of the day. It would either be Dallas, Arizona, or no, maybe Chiefs Bears could be a kind of a nasty spread too.
It might be the Giants, to be honest. Listen to all those pieces on offense. Not great.
12.5
Niners.
for Dallas.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
take Dallas still.
Don't you? I would too. Don't you think they have the best defense in the league? Like it's fairly
Dallas?
clear.
It's either them or San Fran.
Dallas.
Yeah, I would say San Fran.
Really ahead of Dallas right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think San Fran just is better at linebacker. I don't think Dallas has the talent that San Fran does at linebacker.
Isn't Micah technically
Fred
a
Warner's-
linebacker?
He's an edge, and he lines up inside too. Like he's
everywhere.
He's a joker.
He's
a
the best
joker.
player right now. Him and
He's
TJ Watt, I think,
dumb.
are tied.
Him and TJ are.
I think they're tied.
If you put them on the same line, they would literally ruin people's lives. Literally.
I don't know how they're going to
ruin
pay
people's lives.
everybody in Dallas, but sorry. Go.
We'll figure it out. Dallas by $1 million or 12.5. I would take it. Give me Dallas. Mike Thomas,
Dallas.
Craig Brooks,
Dallas gotta sweep that one.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday Night Football? I think it's Sunday night.
Is that the Sunday night game?
Night Football
Yep.
Oh,
versus
that's fun,
the
Mike.
Vegas Raiders. What are your expectations for your Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Thomas, this week after coming off of a medium to medium low Monday night game?
Super
How
generous.
are you feeling about your... Yeah, I hate Matt Canada for you.
I have
But they
been
won,
dealing
but
with
they
those
won.
feelings for a long time. And now I'm glad that the rest of the football world can share it, because all week, all I see are all the national talking heads going, what is happening? How are you letting this guy still coach? The only thing that you can say as an excuse to let him keep his job for another couple weeks is he went up against two of the top defenses in the league. Not the top two, but I would say the number one defense in the league, and then the Browns are very, very good, and they were playing lights out. So, okay, you went up against two really good teams. If you come out and struggle against the Raiders, though, what's your excuse?
And don't you guys have the Texans next week? Like,
Yeah, like if we
if you
struggle
shit
the next
bed
2
against
weeks,
the
then I don't know how it makes any sense to not move on from Canada at that point. If they have one bad game offensively in the next 2 weeks, it's going to be really hard to argue that they should keep Canada for the rest of the season and let him finish out his contract, because he's been there longer. He's been there for several years. This is not new. This is several years of ineptitude, but the Rooneys are very loyal. They don't like firing coaches in the middle of their contract. They will encourage them to retire if they need to. That is about the extent that they go to. And it's really harming the future of this franchise right now, because you've got a first round draft pick who is in a very important time in his development, and he appears to be regressing. It's not that he was playing against really good teams. He was making some boneheaded plays, and his coach is not putting him in a chance to succeed. So fire Canada, fire everybody on the offensive side, get some new blood in there. I was just so frustrated watching that game. And all Yinzers everywhere were just feeling the same exact thing.
So playing devil's advocate here, he's played two very good defenses to start the year, like you said. Doesn't he play a good defense every week in practice?
He practices really well. That's Tomlin said that as much in the press conference that
Does he have the yips? Does Kenny have the yips when the lights are
he
on?
Might.
Is he reverse Baker?
He might. He's got one of those situations where he practices really well. And Tomlin said it, I think, in his press conference yesterday, where basically, usually, the vast majority of the time, players that practice well will eventually turn it around on the field. And I do think Kenny has the chance to graduate to Ken and be a good quarterback in the NFL. But not with Matt Canada calling the plays.
You know what? That's what it is. He's just got to come out and be like, hey, guys, it's Ken Pickett, and I sling. Okay? So we just got to stop torn. This Kenny stuff.
Because he's also living in the one town where Kenny is a cool name because of Kennywood. Yeah. So,
yeah, that's true.
He has too many marketing opportunities there locally if he keeps the Kenny.
He's got to play better. Go ahead, Pat.
He does.
I'm concerned about that Steelers offense under Matt Canada. So, complete transparency, like 3 years ago, I took an entire year off, watched zero football, was very unmotivated by the Giants, their direction. Dave Gettleman literally broke me as a football fan. And I watched no football, didn't watch the Super Bowl, didn't watch nothing.
He was out.
Nothing. And came back a year later, whatever. That Monday night game, that was the worst display of offensive coordinating and play calling I have ever seen. And I watched Joe Judge be the head coach for the New York Giants for 2 years. So, I watched that man call, victory formation on our own 10-yard line, back-to-back plays. And that was still better than what Matt Canada was running out there. And I think that it's told better, not by me and not by you, by the fact that your defense scored more points than your offense in that game. Yep. And
they need to.
You won. Well, yeah. And you guys won that game in Pittsburgh. And it wasn't a chant of let's go Steelers, whatever. The chants were to fire Matt Canada.
Yeah.
Fire Canada.
Yeah. It's
fire Canada.
In a game you won, everyone was still aware enough of how that game went to be this dude cannot be here.
Pat, they went to the stadium with giant Fire Canada banners. This is a brewing thing in this fan base that was not, it's not a one-time thing.
What do you think goes through Canada's mind, right? He's by himself. He knows these narratives, right? They must... Is it complete lack of self-awareness? Is it that he believes his plan will work and Tomlin's got his back? How do you not, as any logical human, look at the numbers and be like, wow, I'm not doing well? What do you think, Mike, is going on for the man?
Well, he's clearly not thinking about football X's and O's or drawing up ways to get Pickett out in space or doing any of that stuff. So the only thing he could be doing to get through the days is counting the zeros on his paycheck. That's got to be the only thing that he could do to just be like, it's okay. It's okay. There's a couple of zeros at the end of my check and I can put up with it. I can put up with this for that.
Was it a very large contract?
I mean, he's an OC.
The number in my head's $1.5 million.
Well, all of this.
Sorry, there's two stats that I find absolutely amazing. One, Monday night, the Steelers had a come-from-behind victory where they totaled -7 yards in the fourth quarter. So that tells you something there. And in the 3 years Canada has been the offensive coordinator with Pittsburgh, they have never had a 400-yard game as a team.
That's very strange. That's so shitty.
Every other team has had
stat.
3.
That's a real stat.
3.
Mike, you said Tomlin, we know he's loyal, we know to a fault. Now, Jeff Saturday, I don't know this relationship, I just saw this, is saying that Mike T is telling Matt Canada, the fans pay our bills, you got to get them happy or you're gone because then I'm gone. Do you think it's getting hot from Tomlin or that's just BS narrative getting shifted and Tomlin would just let it go all year?
Is Saturday saying that because he knows something or is he saying that because he's imagining what's happening in the building?
I mean, he said he thinks Tomlin is indirectly telling Canada to figure it out or take a hike because there was a apparently Tomlin did not condemn the chant. I'm on Steelers Depot, going deep here, trying to figure it out because it doesn't make sense why this guy is employed.
Tomlin in his press conference said that I don't have the words right in front of me, but
hold the phone. We have a whole Sunday night breakdown we're gonna do.
You got it.
Oh, my bad.
Let me pause this
dog.
here, and we're gonna
dog.
Let's take our picks. I'm gonna take the Steelers, even though they're in Vegas.
I'm taking them too.
That I feel like the Steelers have a better defense than the Raiders have a defense, and I think that their offense is just smart enough to be able to drive on the Raiders defense. So give me the Steelers. Craig's taking the Steelers. Mike, I think I know who you're taking. Who you taking?
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
He can't take the Steelers. He
can't take the Steelers.
He can't.
I did week 1. Look what happened.
He did, and they
I broke Kenny.
Aggressive.
Oh my God, I killed Kenny.
Yeah, you did.
I would like to move on real quick before we get into our 2 Monday Night Football games that we will also do a breakdown for. Wanted to shout out Craig Jackson 12 on YouTube. Thank you for your nice words to us.
Woohoo!
He said that we have really good takes, and I don't necessarily believe him, but I appreciate him being really nice to us.
It's a very nice liar.
I wanted to shout him out. Talking about the Philadelphia Eagles undefeated against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, also undefeated. Eagles have not looked like the Eagles of old so far this season, and Baker is 2-0 and is like kind of playing good. Kind of looks like he's got that Baker swagger back. I'm still gonna take the Eagles in this game because I just think their offense is sick. It's just dumb. Craig, who you taking?
I want to take the Bucs, but I'm waffling. I'm probably going to select the Eagles. I want to take the Bucs because I believe that Baker plays big in big moments. But you know what? I'll switch it right back. I'm going Bucs.
Bucs. All right.
I talked myself back into it. He practices poorly. He plays well. He does not. He does not. But I brought this up multiple times on this pod. That LA Rams game on Thursday night, that week 16, awesome. 17, it was a late week, was so fun, and he was the catalyst of why. And he got on a plane, 48 hours notice, started an NFL football game, and then had a 90-yard game-winning drive. Like, that guy rises when the lights are on. So it just feels like at home, night game, Eagles in. If there was an exciting thing to happen, it could be there. I don't remember I hope not, but as long as Evans, Godwin, if he's got a full health there, he's got a puncher's chance.
Yeah, I think they're pretty healthy. I haven't heard anything going on there. Mike, who are you taking in this game?
I think the Eagles have not played to their potential yet, and I think Tampa Bay has played to their potential. So I'm going to take Philadelphia because I think we're going to see more out of them this week than we have in the past 2 weeks.
Very, very interesting. And then our final game of this week, the LA Rams versus the Cincinnati Bengals. We will also have a breakdown of this game. But really quick, I'm torn on who to take in this game because Joe Burrow has not looked like Joe Burrow. Matthew Stafford has looked like Matthew Stafford. Craig, where do you fall in this game?
I decided to make my pick based on my respect for the coach. So I took the Rams. I'm behind the Rams. I think McVay is a much better coach. I don't think they're in the same. I think it's obvious because one has a Super Bowl and one doesn't. And I think one actually, the irony is the one with more talent on his roster is performing worse. So McVay is doing more with less. Really interesting guy to listen to. He was on the Pivot podcast. That's really cool. McDaniel just was too, which I thought was an awesome episode. I don't know if you have time to listen to that, but it was really great. So I'm just going to be kind of like tangential fandom for the Rams, just hearing how invested he is in the guys. And you said it, like we're seeing a slightly revitalized Stafford that looks pretty cool, doing well without Kupp. I won't get the guy's name right, but there's a rookie receiver that is like leading the league. Yeah, like really fun, playing really well. I hadn't heard of him till a week ago. Like I'm being honest, I wasn't. on that sleeper pick, but Sean fucking McVay was. So like bet on that is my play here. So it's Rams. And like I like Joe Burrow. I like the Bengals players. I'm not super into the way the coaching has gone.
Yeah. Mike Thomas, who are you taking? Rams, Bengals. Thoughts
I'm
and
as
feelings?
torn on this game as Joe Burrow's calf. I just,
Oh no.
I just don't know what to do.
Is it broken?
No, I think it's just straight. The Rams should not be 2-0. Are they 2-0? No, they're 1-1.
No, they're
1-1.
1-1. The Bengals shouldn't be 0-2. This is stupid. Why did they bring Burrow out? We'll get to that later. I'm going to take Cincinnati at home, but I also feel like I'm going to change this 2 or 3 times before Sunday. Before Monday, excuse me.
Before Monday, yeah, right. I am also tentatively going to take Cincinnati, and I almost flipped to go to the Rams because of what Craig was saying.
Flip.
Sean McVay is the man. He's super smart, very good coach. They sold out everything for that Super Bowl, and it worked. But I think there's been a lot of shit talked about Joe Burrow and whether or not that calf is intact or not. The second half of that game where he was hitting T. Higgins, much to my dismay, as I was playing T. Higgins and I had Joe Mixon. Yeah, I think this is a game where he's going to get that Baker-itis, bright lights, Monday Night Football in a game that they're not going to, they're going to be talked kind of down a little bit from where they should be. And I think Burrow makes some big plays and takes them to the victory, and hopefully like some Joe Mixon touchdowns, because I need it.
If he plays.
If he plays, he might not play. And then I get a lot of Joe Mixon and probably no touchdowns. So we'll see what happens with that. But guys, that does it for our pick'ems this week. We will also have our Thursday night breakdown, our Sunday night, Monday night football breakdowns, and then our Sunday matinee video this week will be 2 1:00 games, because the 4:00 games are ass. We're going to be talking about the Chargers, Minnesota, and Denver versus Miami, just to pump up Craig's tires a little bit more, talking about those Miami Dolphins. So do us a favor down below, like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know who you're liking. Let us know what you think about what we have to say. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We appreciate it, and we will see you all back here next time.